you gave me fever. No need to tell me all. Your eyes I always remember. I wrote you on and on. You never gave me an answer. Am I the only one? I didn't know it was over. Take care of you. Take care of you. Take care of you. You on and on. You never gave me an answer. Am I the only one? I didn't know it was over. Take care of you.
Hello everybody, welcome to the live stream. I'm super excited to have this session with you guys today because we're going to be talking about randomness in Notion and how that can actually help us do the right things right and get rid of all the decision fatigue in our lives. And I think it's going to be a really fun live stream. So today we've invited Ben to join us. Ben has joined us for one of our collaborative live streams before, but this time he's joining us again to give us a really good look into how he's planning to use randomness in his Notion templates. And we're going to explore together all the different possibilities for us. So really excited to have him along today with us. Ben, would you like to say hi to everybody? And we'll jump right in.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello. Well, I'm super excited about today. I don't know about you, but Ben, when you first brought up this idea, and actually I think you were the one to share this with me, that Notion now finally has a way to pull the page IDs, which obviously to us means that we can start having real diversity between different database entries. I was just curious, like, where did your mind go? Like, where are you trying to take this idea when you first, came across it?
Well, I'll admit, this has already been something that I've been trying to do for a little while since I got into Notion. for one of my meal planners, I had really been wanting to try and create some kind of randomness so that I didn't have to come up with like all of these different decisions every day. I found that it was a lot to put on my plate, but not putting a lot on my plate, as it were. But I was trying to do it with the now property and just like timestamps, and it was just like it wasn't really random. It was just like how random, like how accurately did I put it into some bracket of every time of every day. But I think that this is so much better because it's actually using the randomness of the IDs that are randomly generated for each of the pages anyway.
100%. Like, I think, I was trying to do something similar before. If you guys remember the whole loot boxes idea in our templates, and the issue with loot boxes, or the issue with the way that we did it, again, I don't think it was a huge issue, but like, you had to redirect you to like a website, you had to roll a dice. Again, I think that made it kind of fun, to be very honest, but I think it'd be very cool if it just was built into Notion, right? And then we get to see exactly how we can get these random numbers and have a really easy way, I guess, to select from a list. I think that's the main thing. It's like, it's not very easy or clear how to select from a list, and this makes it very, very, very simple. So I'm really excited to get started, Ben. How about you?
Yes, I'm very excited to get started as well.
Amazing. All right, so again, the idea of why we want to do this, I think, is very simple. We have enough decisions to make every single day. Let's make it easy by harnessing the power of randomness in Notion. And what are we going to do today? Well, we're going to use randomness to make work fun, right? And also randomness to help us make decisions and ease the decision fatigue. I think this is really important, and I want to hammer this down really clear because we have to be able to see how randomness actually enriches our lives. We're going to go through 3 examples today, 3 examples that we thought about, but we'd love to hear also your examples on how you would use randomness, because I think there's so much to explore in terms of how the community would potentially use this to their advantage. Again, the whole idea being that I don't have to worry so much and think so much about the decisions I'm making because, I can get a nice suggestion. And again, at the end of the day, everything are suggestions, right? Whereas you can always pick what you want to pick in the end. So how are we going to go about this? We're going to show one example from the loot boxes. We're actually going to be upgrading the loot boxes that we have inside our system. And obviously I'll recap what the loot box is all about. We're also going to do some meal planning randomization, which is really cool, I think. Sometimes we just can't make a decision of what to eat, what to cook, and those kind of things. So super awesome like that. And then also we'll figure out how to do random self-care or random tasks to help us boost ourselves when we need that rejuvenation. So that's where we're going to go with this. Ben, let's get started with the loot boxes, and let's talk a bit about that, shall we?
Sure.
Amazing. Okay, so loot boxes, what are they? How do they work? Let's talk a bit about that. Basically, if you can see my screen here, I'm also going to open the loot box as well. We actually have a database inside our system for loot boxes. And if you guys played any video games, and Ben, I know you have for sure, so I'm going to ask you in a second, but there's always these randomized rewards that we can potentially get after a quest. And the fun part about doing those quests is that we don't know what reward we're going to get. And that's what makes it very exciting for us to continuously pursue those rewards. Every time it's something new, right? We don't know what's going to be behind the curtain. So there's a lot of like excitement there that essentially helps us really engage into our game. And in this case, what we've built here is a way to engage into our work. And the trigger for these is if I do my reflections on time, if I do my reflections, then I'm able to go ahead and pick up a random reward of a certain rarity, and then use that as a way to, motivate myself to continue with what I have to do. Ben, if you had a loot box for yourself, what would be in your loot box? I'm just curious, what are the random things you'd like to fit in? And I guess what would be like your legendary tier, your epic tier, your rare tier, common tier, and so on?
Okay, so I think that's a bit of a tricky question, but I think for me, I'm always one for kind of more permanent items. I'm always kind of excited about those kind of things. Um, but for a lot of this, I think our benefit is just it's kind of a what do you get out of the moment? So I think some of the things I get out of this are kind of self care opportunities, things that I think that I oftentimes might not put as much thought into. So I put more into kind of reading a book, or sometimes I'll maybe try and play more games with friends when I think that I spend a lot of time on productivity and focusing on being in the moment, when sometimes it's nice to be able to remember that you need to have some extra time in there as well.
Awesome. Yeah. I think that's definitely a great place to start, right? And actually, we're going to be talking about self-care later as well. So I think that falls right into those kind of categories. And for this category is exactly as you say, it's about how do I take myself from the position of, I've worked all day, I've been productive, but where do I take the time for myself to enjoy perhaps the fruits of my labor or just a nice relaxation session? So I think that's really, really good. So let's show you how this kind of works, right? And basically, for example, if I went to today's entry, and this is again, my today is the 25th, maybe for everyone in North America, it's the 24th, but we have our habits that we can do. We're gonna skip habits for now because I think that's fine, but I'm gonna show you reflections, right? So at the end of every single day, we like to do some reflections that are going to help us essentially continue on with our day and get things done. Sorry, end of the day, not get things done, but end of the day in a very nice, serene, and calm manner. So we have like these three words that we can put. So for example, maybe today was eventful, I bonded, and I was very introspective. What I do today, I felt good about. Well, I did the live stream, right? Had an awesome live stream with Ben. Mistakes that I made today, right? Maybe I say made some mistakes. Maybe I, didn't eat my meals on time. Maybe I made people wait. Maybe I'll just put didn't eat my meals on time, right? Meaningful conversations that I had. Maybe I had a conversation with, my mom for her career, right? Maybe that's something I talked about, and that's something I can put in. How intentional was I today? How many tasks did I do intentionally today? So this is really important, right? Maybe I put 4 tasks I did intentionally. How many things have I been grateful for? Well, let's put down live stream going smoothly and supportive community are always things I'm very grateful for. Happiness, I think that's also something really good, right? And again, by the way, these are all things that you guys can do in moderation. You don't have to do all of these, right? You don't have to do all of these reflections, but I think it's really nice to have these reflection categories because it gives you the chance to put a lot of metadata into your day, right? You get to understand really how your day really went. And Ben and I were talking actually about how this can actually translate into more of the bigger holistic, like imagine yourself as a game character, right? As you're going through life, you can kind of see yourself as you through your ups, through your downs, and track yourself as how you went through those certain points in your life. So I think that's really, really, really cool. And then also just finishing this up, right? What can I do tomorrow that's high leverage? Well, for example, being able to, write a blog, right? Might be something that's high leverage. I'll get a lot of returns from that. What I want to do, what I want to sleep on, what are things that I am stressing out about perhaps, and I want to really think about. So this could be something about like, perhaps I want to, how can I make the community better, right? That's something that I think about a lot. Stress level and sleep qualities, I think that's something that we can do later on. That's the next day could be something. But right now we can already see that in our loot box, it says you finished your reflection. And normally we would tell you to go to a certain website and enroll. Let's say we went to that website and enrolled. So I do want to show you. Let's say we went to that website and enrolled, how that would look. So basically in that website, it's just a 20-sided dice, right? In this case, we rolled a 4, and let's show you what 4 means. So we'll put the 4 into here. And then depending on what we put there on that 4, let's see what happens. We should have a dice rarity earned. So let's see what happened. It's because we haven't finished our habits, so we can't skip that. We're waiting for our habits to finish. So let's say I made my bed, I drank water, I watered my plants, maybe I meditated as well. Let's see what happens now. So it looks like we got a common rarity, okay? And basically how this works is there's a whole formula that calculates based on the dice roll and based on the amount of habits that we've done that gives us a roll. Let me just cheat for a second and show you what it looked if I had like a 16 instead, we would get a rare, right? So there's always a level of randomness here. But what happens when we get that rarity is we get to choose a rarity from here. And obviously we can only choose the rares from now on, right? That basically helps us figure out what exact reward we need. So we're looking to improve this, right, Ben? And this is where we jump in. My personally, Ben, I think that we can replace the dice roll without having to go to like another website to roll a dice. We can roll that dice directly in Notion. What do you think, Ben?
Yes. So what we can do with Notion now that we have the ID function, we can use that and then replace the non-number characters. Then we'll just transform that into a number. And then we can essentially adjust the randomness of that number and then how we round it to pick how refined we want of a random number.
Okay, that's very cool. So let's just see how to do that, right? And so it looks like we need a number from 1 to 20. So let's first see what we can get from Notion's page ID, the new feature that they've been giving us, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the number here to formula. I'm going to grab the ID, which I believe is down here. There's going to be an ID. Let's see ID right now. And then we see that the ID gives us this really long string of numbers. It's showing me legendary, obviously wrong, but it's giving me this long string of numbers, right? Okay, awesome. So how would we translate this? What would the formula look like for this? Let's also try to break it down piece by piece so we can teach everybody who's watching at home exactly how this formula goes and how we can break down the number into anything that we want to show.
Sure. So one of the quickest and easiest ways in a formula is we already can see we have a lot of numbers in there, but there's a lot of other kind of hex string text that we don't really want. So what we need to do is we are going to use a replace all.
Okay.
And then we're going to use some regex to clear out everything that is not a digit.
All right. Give it to me. Let's see how we can get it done.
Sure. So after your ID, you're going to have two strings. So the first one, which is going to be our regex, is going to be braces.
Okay.
And then we're going to do 0 to 9.
Okay.
But then we're going to go ahead and put a caret above the 0. We're going to choose everything that's not that. Everything except that.
Oh, before the 0. Okay.
Yep.
Got it.
And then we're going to set the output to null. So we're just going to give it an empty string for the third output.
Got it. Okay. So something like this. Oops. Something like this. Very cool. Okay, let's explain this to everybody who didn't catch up to that, because I think this is super cool. And thank you, Ben, for walking us through this so well. If I could try to repeat what Ben just said, right, in my own words, and Ben, correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, what we've done is we've decided to replace all that are not numbers from 0 to 9, right? And then basically, if they're not numbers from 0 to 9, we're giving them empty strings so that they become, all the letters basically are taken out of this string. Is that correct, Ben?
Yes, but currently it is still a string. So what we're going to want to do is take it to number so that it would now be a number.
Perfect. Let's do that. Okay, now we have a number. What's next?
Okay, so now what we need to do, and this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, we need to try and refine how random that is.
Okay.
So what we need to do is take that number and use the modulo operator.
Mod. Okay. So MOD.
Okay, yeah, you can use that. It's also, I think it's like the 5 key on your keyboard is the modulo.
Oh,
symbol.
the percentage.
The percentage symbol.
Okay, we can
is the modulo operator.
Okay, let's do a percentage. I think it'll be simple. Yeah.
All right, and then for this is 1 to 20, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so we would want to do 90
90. All right.
divided by 5.
Divided by 5.
Yep. And so let's see here. And then we're going to take all of that and then we're going to wrap it in a round.
Mm-hmm. And then it
And
rounds
then
up.
we should be able to add 1 to it because this actually currently should be 0 to 19, I think.
Okay, perfect. Actually, let me check my dice roll. Yeah, 1 to 20. Yeah, perfect. So plus 1. Really interesting. Okay, can you explain modular for us? So we can learn a bit about formulas there. Well, what does modular do? Especially the 90 divided by 5.
Sure. So this is a little bit of math class here, but the modulo operator is essentially the remainder of a division.
Okay.
So essentially, we know it's some gated value between 0 and 1. But based on the number itself, we can refine essentially how big of a number that's going to be. And so what we're kind of doing here with the percentage to 90 is essentially we're saying it's 0 to 9, but then we're cranking up by 10, so it's essentially here by dividing by 5 again, we are resulting in 0 to 20 because it would be by 10. Sorry, I'm talking myself in a big circle here because we're combining the result of the division with the modulo operator initially.
Okay. Got it. So if I understand correctly then, if I want something from, let's say, 0 to 9 or 0 to 10, I guess, right? It would be modular 90, so the percentage 90 divided by 10. Would that be correct?
Correct. And so, so that what is easy then by just dividing the 10 in half, we have doubled kind of the variance of our chance of possible outcomes.
Got it. So actually, if we were divided by 10, I think what we had was 0 to 19, and then what we added 1 is like 1 to 20. I think that's what happened, if I understand correctly as well. But I think
that's okay. Correct. And so that's why we have to add 1, is because since we're simulating dice rolls, we don't expect 0, which is in numbers is a default option.
Okay, that's very cool. So let's see if this really works, right? So I'm going to just put a different image here so we can see that this is a different entry than like maybe if I did an entry for yesterday. So let's do that quickly because I really think that's so cool. We can change this how, oops, I think it's not really letting me. Wow, this is not letting me click on that. Okay, I'm going to make another entry for yesterday and let's see what happens. So we see the dice roll here is 7, right? Versus the dice roll here is 13. That's super cool. And then we have a dice roll here that's 7, right? The next one, let's see what it is. It's 11. So we have true randomness here, Ben. That's amazing. Thanks for putting that in. So this is like true randomness now that we have. And I guess what I can do now is just make sure I have a formula that doesn't let this pop up until we're ready, right? Until all the reflections is done. So what we can do here is we can just add this this formula here. You finish your reflection, and then I'm just going to put this down. Let's do it. And then what we're going to do is in front of the dice roll, in front of this formula, we're going to say only if we have done our reflections, otherwise show 0 or show nothing. Let's see. So if prop, there we go. Oh, that's showing entirely 0, so I still show something, but I want an empty string. How do I do that? I want an empty string here. Because showing 0 will still make this thing pop up. I want it to just basically not show anything. Is there a way to show true emptiness, or does it have to be 0?
Well, so what you could do on here, it's a little bit weirder, but since for your if statements, both sides have to match.
Yeah.
What you could do is basically write an additional wrapper if, that if it's 0, then return null. Otherwise, return the number as a string.
Or I think it could be a string. So let me try, right? I think this could be a string. The only thing would be how do we
You
do
had
two
the
string?
format, right?
Yeah, but in the next formula, I can just make it back to number. Yeah, I think that
Right,
would be the
format.
answer. Yeah, format will be good. We had format here. That's done, so that the dice roll should disappear, which it's not doing. Hide when empty. There we go. And then what we can do here now is, because the rarity earned is here, we have to take the dice roll. We need to make it 2 number, and I think that'll be it. So we make this 2 number. Let's see, 2 number. I think we do it here. So we add 2 number here, and then close the bracket, and then we can also add 2 number here, and then close the bracket, and then also a 2 number here, and then close the bracket. I don't think I changed anything. I don't know why. Okay, wait, this one is not right. Let's see.
I think you're missing the first one as well.
Okay, let's try one more time. No, this one's just if it's empty or not. So we need to put one here. I got it. I put it too far up. 2 number needs to be there. Yeah, okay, so what was your solution? Let's figure out what your solution is, because then we can split out 2 numbers, right? I think that's fine.
Well, actually, so what I'm realizing is that the main issue here is it wants to essentially force the function into a particular type.
Yeah.
So I guess we're trying to establish: are you wanting it to be a number or a string?
A number for sure. But actually, I'm just double checking. I think actually this works. Let me just double check, because I think this actually works. I'm pretty sure this actually works, because automatically it's being translated to number. I just don't know if it's taking the 1 or it's taking the full thing. So let me just throw some things in here, and then we'll see. So we're finished our reflection. We have a 7. We need to finish our habits. So let's just add something. And then we have our reward. No, we don't, not yet. Oh, we need to go above 70%. So we're 71%. We got legendary. Okay, it's only legendary every time. So yes, this is wrong. We need to definitely give ourselves a number here. So my understanding is that we just need to do a 2 number here, and then that should work. But I don't know why that's difficulty number is not a text.
Well, so also, Conrad, what I'm wondering is if you could check, instead of it being empty, could you just have your initial clause be if it's 0?
Yeah, I remember it showing up, or not showing up. So let me just see. I put it to 0. So then the dice roll is working now, and then we go here. Oh, actually, it does disappear. Okay, perfect then. Done. Solved. Simpler than we thought. Thanks for catching that. That's awesome. Okay, cool. So we've done this implementation now. We're able to now have a proper rarity. You can see, like, if it was yesterday, the rarity is going to be common. And then we can choose a rarity. We can only pick common. Maybe we pick 2EV for 30 minutes, right, instead. And then the reward matches. So there's a match there. So we know that that reward is there. And then if this is the other one, we can see that we got a rare one. So for rare, we can go ahead and pick maybe ice cream. And then we can see that we have an ice cream rarity. So that's really cool. Ben, anything else you want to add to this? Or we can move on to the next thing, which is meal planning, which I think you're super excited about.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see where we are able to kind of push some of this. Although I'm glad that we were able to get this up and running.
Awesome. Same here. Okay, so we have the loot box being done, and this will obviously be all pushed out in next week's update for the new quarter. So get excited about that. So we already have randomness in. Now let's talk about how to do randomness when it's not exactly clear. So for example, we have a meal planner database, right, where we have all our meals and we can essentially choose a meal to eat every single week. Now, like if you're anything like me or Ben, sometimes too many options give us decision paralysis. It's very human, right? So what would we do to pick a meal out of random that so that we don't have to think about like, oh, Sunday we're gonna eat this, Monday we're gonna eat this, Tuesday we're gonna eat this, and so on and so forth. Ben, how are you thinking about making this a random list that we can choose from?
So the one of the main things that I think that we are able to do if we have essentially our random number or letter generator is we can take and like we had before with our regex replace, we could search for specifically if the character matches that, and then we can kind of essentially replace for our formula to have a specific item in, let's say, a CSV of items, or it may even work for us to use a select or tag property. We'll have to mess with it and see.
Interesting. Wait, so you're saying that we can actually pull the index of all the items in the rollup, or are you saying that's not the case?
So we can use a value for index as well, and we can try and mess with that as well. Although I was saying if we wanted to specifically kind of set a pair table of these many values, basically setting 1 through say 10 for items in a meal. If you roll a 1, then you're going to be getting chicken parmesan or something, and then essentially in your formula we can set up to match that. Okay, it'll grab that there chicken parmesan.
But how would it grab the item in the relation though? I'm still a bit confused about that. Unless they're already selected previously.
Right. So that's what I unfortunately I don't readily know how we're going to grab it out of a relation. I'm hoping we can figure that out. That's not something I have figured out before today.
Got it. Yeah, we can try, because Jackie's also saying something like she wants to try that. Okay, so let's do 2 implementations. Let's do the simple one, right? Which I think is as simple as just having like a number generator between 0 to 10, maybe 1 to 10, and then picking like something out of a list. But then I think the really cool one would be if we can actually pull all the information that's in the relation. This is where it gets to the more exploratory side of what we do here. We can figure out exactly how that can work. Shall we do that? We'll do like a simple version, and then we'll do a more complicated version to see if we can actually get the real item from the rollup.
Yeah, I'm excited to see if we can kind of speed through something and start making. I think that if we're able to start selecting items out of rollups, then it's going to be a very vastly powerful tool.
Got it. Okay, so let's quickly speed through. We're going to say suggested meal, right? Suggested meal is going to be a formula. I'm going to try to do everything from scratch. So ID we have there. I'm going to replace all for the ID that has the regex for 0 to 9 or 0 to 9. We need the curly brackets. And then if it's not that, then it's going to be blank. So there we have that. Then we have a modular 90 divided by 10. And then we have a round on everything.
So that's an ampersand.
Oh, and we need 2 number as well. Yep, I realized there's an n% there. N% is here. Modular is here. There we go. So this is going to be a randomness between 1 to 10. And then my thought process was we'll be able to go to the meals, right? Assuming that these were all cleared out. We'll be able to go to meals, and we suggest that this one will sheet number 5. So number 5 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then we click this. This is going to be, again, number 5. This is going to be number 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this, and so on and so forth. So I think this is a very simple implementation. This is like the simplest of the simple. And then this gives us a suggestion that helps us choose from the list that we currently have. Does that make sense? I think I like
Yes.
it in this way, yeah. So this is like the most basic implementation. So 6 is here. But I think there's like you said, there's going to be a lot of like we talked about this a bit before stream, where the list of this list will keep changing. Like before, this Skyline thing was like on 5. Now it's like down here on like 7, right? So the position will keep scrambling, and it's going to be very confusing for someone to understand exactly where. Maybe it adds to the randomness, Maybe it adds to randomness. Maybe that's a good thing.
Well, one I was saying though is if we wanted to have not in this view, but kind of a separate view, kind of above of just the items for this week. So say limit it to a view of 10 items, maybe even a gallery.
Right.
And so you'd be picking from that. So it wouldn't kind of be randomizing, picking from there. You maybe would just be kind of dragging and dropping to apply relations.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I see what you mean. Let's try this. Okay, so we have a new page. We're going to call this one Random Meal Picker, right? And then we're going to say we're going to have a table here. And then I'm going to add description. Select all the meals you want to eat. And we'll pick a random one for you out of the list. I think this is going to be really cool. If we can solve this, this is going to be super cool. I really do agree. So for example, this is going to be at today. And then we're going to have a relation. This relation needs to relate to recipes. So recipes, I'm going to pick it like this. Hopefully it finds it, because I have a lot of databases here. Yes, there's already way too many. Let me change recipes to have like a suffix. So hello. So recipes, hello. There you go. That's the one. And then I'm going to take that away because now I know this is recipes. So the way I'm seeing it then, and you can correct me, is I'm seeing it as I can pick, for example, maybe between banana bread, between mashed potatoes, between almond rice. I can't choose which one to eat, right? Let's just start simple. Between these three, I can't choose what I want to eat. So now I will have a roll up that is going to give me all of that in text format. So let's give me all the recipes, name, original. I'm going to have another column which is going to give it all in a string. So it's going to read this and give it all to me in a string. Okay, so from here, how would we use randomness to pick only one chunk? Like obviously we're using the comma as a separator, right? But how would we both have randomness using the limits of how many items we have in this? So we got to first figure out how many items do we have. What's the best way to do that?
So what you could also do is if you wanted to use a roll up again, you could just use the count from that roll up.
Yeah. Count all. So we have a 3 now. So this is number of items. This is name of items. And then we have this last one, which is going to actually be items. Okay, so we have 3. That's great. So now we know it's 1 out of 3. How would we make a proper modular, like the modular function to find something out of 3?
So essentially what we're probably going to need to do, since it's a comma separated value list, we're going to have to use a replace all to essentially slice by which item it is by comma.
Okay.
And at one point I had some stuff for doing that. I just had not gotten this far along. But we can mess around with it and we'll see where we get. But essentially, we're just going to have to see where we can make some stuff happen with some regex. I'm actually going to pull up a regex thing in the background and see if I can mess with some regex that we're
Okay.
going to need when we get there.
For sure. I'm also going to share this with you if you want, and then so you can come in and just try out as well. So let's do that. I'm going to give you access on this page here, and I don't want to expose your email address, so I'm going to do on the side. So let me share this with you, Ben. Okay, so you have the page now, and you can go ahead and try it out. I just sent you the invite.
Sure.
But yes, okay, so I want to answer a question from Shania. Shania is saying that, are you going to be able to pick random for the entire week or just daily? So the way that we initially did it here would be for the whole week. So you get a random number for the whole week. There's something that we can do like this. What Ben and I are trying to figure out here is if we can even just have like because building this utility is going to be very helpful for us in period. So are we going to be able to have like a random meal picker for any day of the week that we choose? And we get to choose specifically, these are the 3 different things we want to, we want to eat potentially, right? Maybe we have our friends, everyone says, hey, I want to eat pizza. Someone says, I want to eat ribs. I want to eat burgers. And then we have like a randomness that automatically will cycle through and help us pick the right one so that we can go ahead and, use that when we are picking our meals for the week to come. So I think there's going to be 2 solutions here. Again, use whichever one works for you. This is more for like a specific pool of options, whereas for the week one, I was thinking that it's just like, hey, of all the ingredients we have, all the meals that we have, what should we eat from there? How can we pick randomly from there? And I think that's a really, really cool way of going about it. Okay, so we have some randomness here. Let's see how we can do it from here on out. Let's see. I think we can do it's definitely slicing, right? But I think when we slice, it's always going to pick the first option, which is wrong. That's what we are missing here. Randomness needs to have a limit of 3, so we got to figure out the limit of 3. So those are 2 problems we need to solve here. One is, how do I slice a specific position, right? And then 2 is, how do I get a specific position out of 3 that's random? Maybe I can go ahead and try the randomness one, and then can you figure out the slice one? Like, how do we get a specific slice index?
Sure. Let's, we can see where we can get.
We can divide
I'll
and
try
conquer.
and check out the slice.
Sounds good. Okay, so I'm going to do 2 number here, and then we're going to see it like that. We're going to modular this. Modular 90 divided by 10 will give us up to 10. So this is not what we want. I'm going to figure out how to get specifically between 0 and 3. So between 0 and 3, I think is going to be divided by, okay, so divided by 10 gives me 10, divided by 5 gives me 20. So then divide by 20 gives me 4. So I think this is 0 to 5. And then 25 is 0 to 3, I think. I think that's how it works. I am not sure at all. Wait. I'm pretty sure there's a better way to do this. Let's see. Cause so I believe 1 to 6 or 1 to 5 is okay. So if it's 1 to 5, it'll be 50 divided by 10. So this is 1 to 5. And I think the way that it works is it's just 50 divided by 10. So then that's why it's out of 5. If I want to adjust it, I basically just need to have this division be equal to 3. So if I do 30 divided by 10, I believe that's going to give me between 1 to 3. Let's see if that's the case. I'm going to open another one, new. Okay, and then I need to do a +1 at the end. Because it needs to have a 1 option. It can't be 0. So this is 1 to 3. Okay, that's really cool actually. Okay, guys, I figured out exactly how to do it. So basically this modular thing at the end, all we have to do is just make sure that this is equal to the number of items. So now all I have to do is just figure out how to make a formula that reads from the number of items to make this work. So I think the best way to do that is, wait, why can't I just do 3? I'm just curious. Can I just do 3? No, I can just do 3. Okay, I didn't need to think so hard. Very, very cool. Okay, so we just need 3 there. So then this number just needs to be prop number of items. So number of items. Okay, so now depending on the number of items, for example, if I had a lot more items in this one, maybe I had 5 items here, then I would be able to have a random number between 1 to 5. And in this case, I got 1 anyways. Let's say this one again, I had a random number between 1 to 5. This will give me a 3. I'm also going to make this look easier. So this is going to give me a 3. Maybe this one is going to be between 2 items. So I got a 1. That's fine. Between 2 items, still got a 1. I'm curious how many times I can repeat this. Okay, so this one has 2 items and I have a 2. Okay, so this already works. I'm able to get a random index. So random index. I've been able to grab that. And then this basically gives me my solution here, which is really, really cool. I'm really glad that I was able to get that. And now I can clear out everything else and we can go ahead and see how to grab a slice index. So we're to you, Ben. If you got anything for us. And
So
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, and I mean we can go through it. I'm not completely sold that slice is going to work for us. Looking at again the main issue that we have here, unless you have a quick way to grab this, is we don't know the size of each of the items.
The number of letters you're saying, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I do remember, like, I don't know if it was oh, I have the code for it. Actually, I think I have the code for it. Let me check it out. You can flip back to my screen and we can see. And by the way, Seb, I'm glad you liked the way that I think out loud. It's a bit chaotic, but hopefully I can explain enough so that you guys can follow along exactly what's going on, because as you can see, I'm learning at the same time as you guys, right? So I think that's super, super fun. Okay, but Ben, what you actually built this for me before, if you remember. I asked you one time for you and Jackie both for how to figure out the areas of competence in a roll-up. And then we actually have the solution already, if you remember. So
I do. I remember that solution not being a slice.
Exactly. It might not have been a slice, but 100% we do have a solution here. Let's figure out where it is. Areas. Oh wait, this should be in my private database when I was testing it out. Give me a quick sec. I'm gonna go find it. But I think we have a really cool formula that can do it well. So let's see what we have for us. I'm gonna go to X control, just open a random item, and then we have an area suggested. Perfect. It is this. But this is only gonna take the first one. Okay, either way, we're close. We're close. We're close. But it's only gonna take the first one. So I have this formula here. And then if I use this formula, it's going to slice only the first one. So give me banana bread. Okay, but this is fine, right? We've been able to replace all, apparently. I don't think it's the right thing to do either, because it's only going to take the first comma and then replace all after that. We just need to add a regex to replace the third comma. That's it. The second comma in the random index. Everything after the second comma and everything before the second comma. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that makes sense as well. Yeah, that was what I had set up before, yeah, if you stack a regex, so you do everything before this comma and then everything after this comma.
Very cool.
Because
Very cool.
I think at some point, and I don't know, I don't know if I can dredge it up right now, but I did try and take this project a little further, and I did think I was able to figure out a way to select an item out of a CSV based on an index.
Okay. We can actually even Google something. I'm sure someone's done that, right? In Notion. If not, we should write that blog. Select a specific index, in a Notion text field, something like that. We are not finding the right thing. Okay, but would you know how to do it? Do you know how to find a specific like the second comma versus the first comma? Is that easy to do?
So I think what I found, and I have to go through it again. I think I was able to essentially choose a certain number of commas essentially from the last comma.
Okay.
Because you are able to specify the way it searches. So I searched from the last comma. And then you can then slice that grouping, but there'll still be kind of a remainder. So then you'll find the next comma and then slice everything after. So you have found kind of that middle range. And for that, it doesn't really matter the amount of size that's in there. The regex is essentially just finding those indexes of the commas, as you were mentioning. But it does take 2 regex steps, I think.
That's fine. How would we get started?
Sure. So, and we had to, I had to mess with it. This is what I was saying. I was going to need to pull out some regex. But we're going to have to figure out how to pick an indexed amount of space over. So, like, there is a way in regex to specify the nth number of things. And then since it's just text in Notion, what you can do is instead of having that number, you just replace it with the random indexed.
I've seen like, so if you see my screen right now, I see like a 13 or something you can put at the end, and then that can already clean it up. Or like, sorry, not 13, but like just a number at the end with a curly braces can already solve it.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to give it a go and we're able to make it work, the easy solution sometimes is going to be the better solution if it works.
I just want to see if there's... Okay, remove and replace everything before the 13th comma. It's like this. And then basically it just looks like I need to grab a thing like this. Okay, so I might just able, so let's say this was a 2 instead. So I'm just going to remove 1 and 1. That's pretty cool actually. But let's say the test string didn't have all these things. Oh, so I need to wrap everything with a curly braces apparently for it to work. That's so interesting actually. So this all needs to have curly braces for it to work properly. I don't understand why though. I think it's something to do with the way that this one is done. Anyway, we can try. Do you want to try?
Yeah, I mean, like, if the solution is we just need to like wrap the string with curly braces first, then who knows?
Okay, so is it a replace all though? I don't think so. This is just a interesting. Okay, so let's see. We're gonna put this curly braces out of here. There we go. Got it. So now it picked Now it took out all the things before 2. So it gave me Omni Rice. That's super cool, actually. That's actually really, really cool. Okay, so instead of 2 here, we need to somehow, in this number, give it a formula, which I think is impossible. So I think we're stuck here.
Actually, I'll bet you it's just text. So go ahead and put 2 parentheses, like delete your 2, put in 2 parentheses,
Okay.
and then concatenate in. So just like
Oh, yes.
yeah.
Yes. Oh, you're perfect. Look at that. I forgot about that completely. Amazing. I need to text this, so format.
Yeah, format.
Okay, so this is random index 2, but this needs to be -1 because it's going to take everything from before, right? So it's going to remove everything from before. So -1. -2? -1. How come -1 removes it like that? So right now it's going to be 1. The index is 1. Okay, let's try this again. Let's try this again, but let me put in the, let's put 1. So 1 gives me Omni Rice, 2 gives me Omni Rice, 3 gives me nothing. Do we understand why?
Yeah, I'm still. I'll admit that I'm a little kind of lost at what that regex is attempting.
I see. Okay, we can try reading it again. And I think it's really cool. We're also showing everybody like the process of how we solve this problem, right? We're Googling, we're figuring out what's going on. Apparently, what they're doing is this is looking for the occurrences of the comma, and then it's replacing with an empty string. I think this is not the exact one because they have an array. So this is all managing it in an array where we don't have an array. So I think it's our answer is going to be simpler than this.
Yeah, well, honestly, what we need is we just need some regex to find the nth comma. That's all we need.
Yeah, okay.
Right now.
Remove the nth comma. Um, hmm. We're really close. If we can solve this, this solves like a lot of different other randomness problems in Notion as well, and then we could be able to get like a lot of solutions for this. Jackie's like, I'm lost. No. Okay, we need to figure out a regex for picking a specific index. The idea is that we have 2 approaches, right? And Ben, you can keep looking while I explain this. But we have 2 approaches. Is we can take everything after the random index -1, and then delete also everything after the random index +1, right? Yes, or not +1, just the random index, and then we'll be left with that number. That's that object. So that's the way it should work, in my understanding, and I think it still will. We just have to make sure we get it right. I think it's okay. For some reason, even after I delete things, it still works, which is interesting, by the way. Okay, so we're looking for everything before that. So we're gonna grab that. Comma must stay there. Okay. See what happens here. Still doesn't change anything. I think it's quite close though. Delete the second colon and everything in it. we just need to find the... We need a better number there. Let's see. This is the last comma, which is not correct. I think the best answer was this one then, the one with the array. Unless you found something better, Ben, and then we can try it.
No, I think the array is fine. Although, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is there anything in particular about the array other than the thing itself needs to be wrapped in some curly braces?
Yeah, I think that's the only thing. I mean, we can just add the curly braces and see what happens.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, if that's the fix, then that's pretty easy.
Yeah. Okay, let's try just adding the curly braces and see what happens. So
Well, no, so
yeah, so this is the 2, and then we're gonna add curly braces to the string here. So replace all, but then we're gonna add curly braces. And then we're going to do this. And then we're also going to add curly braces, and then we're going to grab this. Let's see, like this. Okay, so we have these curly braces on the 2 sides. And then now we have grab a specific chunk. Oh wait, no, this is the wrong place. Whoops, sorry. I need this inside the...
So if I could hop in here,
Please.
Conrad?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's inside your format.
Yeah, there we go. After my format?
Well, no, it's in that first section. You have to do it before your comma.
Yeah. Okay, so I have curly braces there. Now what?
I mean, ideally that should be
that's
making your
wrong
string
place.
work.
That's
Yeah.
inside here. Yeah.
But as far as the rest of the formula, I'm still a little lost on exactly what this regex is doing.
No, I'm with you as well. Okay, so let's say let's replace the test string with what we have actually here, right? Let's replace the test string. So what we have omurice, we have a bunch of other stuff. So let's go ahead and just clear out everything, and let's see what we can do again from brand new. So this is what we have, right? So I'm gonna take this, make sure I got it right. No, I need to grab this properly. Okay, banana bread, whatever. Let's just try it. Banana bread. Omurice, unagi, whatever. Okay, so if I do 1 here, it's gonna give me banana bread. It's gonna take away the 1 position. If I do 2, it's gonna give me only unagi. So this is right. This is right so far. Yeah, this regular expression is actually correct. It's taking away everything before the position 1, like the first comma. This is taking everything before position 2, the second comma. Are we together on that? That solves it, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Now we just got to figure out the regular expression to take things after, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then based on this, how would you change this to take things out after the second comma as well?
So you're saying everything after the second comma?
No, everything after the comma. So like there is everything before. I want everything after now. How would you do it?
Okay, so let's see here. I'm trying to figure out actually what I I don't know readily. Let's see here. Everything you're saying after.
We can think about it together. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we just need to be able to figure out how to invert the selection, though.
Yes, it just need to be inverted. Okay, and while you figure that one out, I'm gonna try plug it back into Notion so we can see if it works in Notion again. Because yeah, it should. think also there was this thing about this comma. Yeah, okay, this works too. Yeah, I'll send it to you so you can kind of explore it as well. I wonder if I can just send it directly, but yeah, here's the test cases, and then you can try it out as well. We'll probably spend maybe like 1 or 2 more minutes on it, and then we'll see like how we can get the solution from here, and just close off the session. Yeah, because we're quite close. I'm really certain we're quite close. Okay, so I'm gonna try grabbing this. Oops, I'm in the wrong place. Let's try grabbing this. I'm gonna do a replace all. I'm gonna comma everything, and then we're going to see how we can grab this information and have that selector. So I'll close this, and then we're going to have our, oops, replace all needs to have lower L's. Let's do that. And then, so we're replacing all of this item with nothing. So let's go like this. And then there we go. So that's really clean. We've already cleaned it up. So it's giving us only the mashed potatoes and omni rice because of position 1. And if I do 2, it's giving me omni rice only. So that's perfect. I've gotten the first part done. For whatever reason, it's not giving me it's still giving me like the curly braces. We can replace those, so I'm not really worried at all. I can replace the curly braces away. So even if we have those in there, that's fine. So right now we have this. Okay. Now I need to replace this whole thing one more time. So I'm gonna add this to this whole thing. We got to replace this one more time and remove the last one. Oh, this is gonna be confusing as well.
Can I actually hop in?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
So if we take this and have another replace all,
yeah,
just replace everything after the first comma, because
perfect.
You only care about the first item now.
You got it exactly. Okay, perfect. Okay, wait. So it needs to be the random minus 1 then, right? So this is going to be the random minus 1.
Sure.
Because it's going to be, in this case, it's 2, right? So if it was 0, well, what will happen? 0 will keep everything. 1 we'll take out the first one. 2, 3. Okay, perfect. I'm actually really psyched for this. So what we need to do is close this off and then add the random index. So property random index. And then we add this back in. We're going to do format here. We're so close, dude. I'm so happy. Okay, so gets us. Okay, this is the wrong example because this random index is 2. Let's get a random index of 1. So this. Oh no, we need a random index of 1. Okay, that's a random index of 3. Amazing. 2. How hard is it to get a random index of 1? Let's see. Basically here we've been rolling like 3 dices. Okay, there we go. We got a 1 finally. Okay, so in the 1 index, what we can do is we can see how we can grab or remove everything else. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to do one more replace all, right? That's what you're saying? Replace all after the comma. So that's basically the answer we had before, which is replace all with this. So I'm going to grab this, replace all, and then this is going to be everything in here. Put this into this section. And then, how come it's not working? Replace all. There's something wrong here. Replace all. There we go. So it's going to remove all the other commas after that. And then I just need to now remove the... No, this random index should be 1. So it should be taking number 1. I don't know why it's not doing that. It should be giving me position 1, banana bread here. But you know what? Whatever. We got it. We got an answer. Like we're able to actually pull up like a random item in here. I think we're actually really, really close. Like this is it. Like it doesn't
Well,
have
and
to be the first position, right? We don't mind that. We just need to pull some random number in here. And as long as we know these are random, that's fine.
yeah, and I already think that this is huge, right? This already does give us some of that randomness you're saying, even if like we were saying the first spot is a dead draw for now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure though, and I could feel free to continue to experiment with it if we at a later point, but I'm pretty sure we could start from the end of the index
Mm-hmm.
and then come in, and it'll actually be easier if we're matching from the last comma instead of the first comma.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think that this is something that we'll just figure out in the upcoming days.
Yeah, and I just did a really dirty trick just now. I'm just getting rid of all of the curly braces. I'm very certain this is the wrong way to do it, but I just want to do something quick and dirty. But now everything's clean. Look at this. So for example, let's do this in a better way. Where I'm like, if I just go ahead and pick like gailan, mom's soup, Greek yogurt, and let's say I add more stuff. Oops, let's not do the Greek yogurt one. Let's do this. So there's 4 items in here. I get suggested the soup, right? I got index of 1. If I now throw in banana bread and mom soup, oh, I got soup again. So looks like soup is reigning supreme, guys. Banana bread, omni rice, and soup. Now, wow, soup is really strong. What the heck? Okay, finally banana bread's coming out. This is really cool, guys. We've been able to make a true randomness breakdown in Notion. We've been able to grab from the recipes and then grab a specific chunk from there. And again, the whole beauty of this is that we can like avoid decision fatigue, right? Where we've been able to pull this from a list. And this is super important in any kind of random picker that we want in Notion, right? No matter if you're picking between, like we showed you before, a loot box item, some reward that you want to give yourself, maybe even something about self-care. Just a lot of really cool stuff that we can pick and essentially go along with there. So that's really cool. Ben, anything else you want to add now that we're nearing the end of the live stream and nearing the end of our use cases here?
Yeah. So one other use case, I mean, it might be somewhat narrow, but I just wanted to throw it out there. Is I'm also kind of curious to see how this may play in tandem with some other levels, kind of these numbers. So I'm curious to see kind of random generators paired with, say, a date number generator function. So if you wanted to be able to put something on your calendar, not specifically, but say, oh, I wanted to assign this for a random date next week or something. Mm-hmm. Then now this kind of gives us the options to do that a little bit easier. If you want to, like we were saying, removing decision fatigue, but if we do it through a timestamp, then we can also essentially adjust our dates, which I think is going to be pretty fun as well.
I think that could be really awesome, and maybe another implementation you can show us in the future. I'm really excited. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining our stream today. Just to quickly recap what we've gotten done. Now, when we finish our daily quests and we get to the end of it, we'll be able to have a random dice roll that we don't have to roll ourselves. It will basically say, hey, this is the rarity that you've earned. Is it rare? Is it common? Is it legendary? How and what rewards should you get from that coming from our loot box, which I think is really cool. The second thing that we've done was a random meal picker for the week. So when we're going through the week, we can suggest ourselves a certain number, and that's basically going to say, hey, based on the list of all the recipes, which number should we go for? Again, super simple. If you just want to go through your entire list of recipes and see which ones you want to eat, you can do like that. And then the third thing we did today was a really cool random meal picker. I think it's more for like, hey, I already know like what kind of foods I want to eat, maybe based on the ingredients I have in the fridge, maybe based on what, my housemates want to eat, whether, it's my family or I'm living with friends. And then from there, being able to have a random option that we don't have to argue about. And that's the cool thing is because it's in a database, we're able to see all the history of the random, and we can see cool stuff like how mom's soup is always going to reign supreme. So that's it from me, guys. Thank you so much, Ben, for joining us on this stream. It's been really fun. Thank you all for joining in the chat. and sharing your options. Hopefully you do something cool with the randomness. I don't know. We'll be sharing all this in a blog for you guys to copy the code if you want to, and also explaining everything behind the code. So definitely check that out. It's coming out soon. And next week we have a brand new templates upgrade for everyone who's on L Control and Gamify Your Life, and also be intentional. So stay tuned for that. Thank you guys so much, and just take care. Ben, say bye as well.
Oh yeah. Bye guys. Thank you so much for having me on. Appreciate
Take
it.
care. Bye bye.